Hey friend, welcome to Self Transformed, a podcast dedicated to transforming your health in less time and guilt-free through the power of habit hacking. I'm your host, Emily McCarthy, behavior change specialist, fitness and Whole30 coach, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. Hey, I know the struggle is real when it comes to taking care of you. I too am a working mom who felt physically and emotionally drained, but lacked the time and confidence to actually make myself a priority. Creating habit strategies around my health was the key to help me finally create a consistent, healthy lifestyle that doesn't feel hard. I'm now on a mission to equip you with those same sustainable habit hacks to help transform your life from the inside out, guilt-free. Together, we will simplify your health into daily habits that don't feel like another thing on your long to-do list, but rather consistent actions that add up to a massive transformation that will stick through all seasons of your life. So if you're ready to habit hack your health and create your own self-transformation, then let's do this. You're listening to episode 176 of Self Transformed. Hey friend, welcome back to the show. I hope you are having a marvelous day and you are feeling calm, cool, and collected heading into this holiday season. I feel like it's like the holidays already. I don't know about you, but I'm getting all kinds of things put on my schedule already, all wonderful things, but everything's starting to fill up. And we are coming off of doing the 3-day healthy habit reset last week, and it was so much fun. I have the replays available for you, okay? You can watch them up until this Friday the 11th, and everything's coming down. You can sign up to get the replays at bit.ly/healthy habit reset. I will have a link posted for you in the show notes, my friend, if you're driving or taking a shower or got your hands wet because you're doing the dishes right now. But it was so much fun. I unveiled a new 5-step habit change method that I've never talked about before. And it was like a game changer. It was kind of like putting everything together that I have learned, that I've researched, that I'm an expert on in regards to being a fitness professional and a behavior change specialist, and putting it into like really simple terms to be like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. So all the ladies in the challenge, they have a challenge to do over the next 21 days. And I'm checking in with them on the 21st day to see how that new healthy habit, that reset is going for them, which is fun because it actually happens to be Thanksgiving Day when it happens. So what a great way to like express gratitude, like to yourself, like pump yourself up and reward yourself, high five yourself, if you will, and celebrate creating a new habit. I mean, we don't celebrate the small stuff enough for ourselves, friends. So I'm going to be celebrating them. One of the gals in the group, she shared this in the Facebook community I have up until this Friday, the 11th. She said her biggest takeaway was accountability, self-accountability, as well as finding a community. I recently relocated for personal and professional reasons. While my heart is so full, I don't have much accountability with like-minded people. I started noticing I'm being more secret about my habits and the changes I want to make, and I don't like that. I want to be proud and all right with not just showing the world the finished product. And, you know, sometimes we're like that, right? We don't want to share what we're doing because we're afraid of like, oh, what if I fail? And, you know, you have this accountability piece that these ladies learned through the reset that like, hey, we're all just doing life together and we're learning how to give ourselves grace as we're giving each other grace too. But this person went on to say, there's an aspect of connecting with other women that can not only let me share in a safe space, but come from relatable experiences like emotional eating, starting and stopping new habits, etc. That just really hit home for her. And she was so sweet. She's like, this has been so great and helped me to decide to be part of the Habit Hacking Society. Can't wait to keep trying with you all, right? Just doing life. Have a great rest of these 21 days. We got this. I mean, like, I can't wait to see where all these girls are in 21 days. You can still join us, get all the replays, get in on the reset. But as my new friend was mentioning, she has officially become a habit hacker in my membership community, the Habit Hacking Society. Doors are open, my friend. I would love to welcome you in and the other habit hackers in there as well, with big open arms, giving each other big virtual hugs. Actually, the day this episode is airing, Monday the 7th, we have our November monthly habit hacking planning call tonight. So there's still time to join us. You can go to bit.ly/joinhhs. It's linked in the show notes for you. But pretty much the Habit Hacking Society is, in my opinion, the best community out there to help you consistently build healthy habits and do it in a group of other like-minded women who are we're just trying our best, right? We're just trying our best. I love that so much. So I won't get into it too much here. I know you want to get into today's episode with me as well, and I want to get to this episode as well. But if you're interested in joining, go to the link in the show notes, sign up. You can lock in your monthly or annual rate for the rest of your life. It will never go up. The annual rate, you actually get 1 month free when you sign up, which is what I would personally do if I were you. And it's been so great. I started this membership community in the summer, and the OG founding members have been so wonderful at helping me grow and customize this community. I'm just so excited to welcome new folks in here. So we'll do our monthly call tonight. We have a theme for the month of attitude of gratitude. And we're just going to focus on what habits we can do. We kind of do some prompts together to kind of really set the mood for the month. There's a bunch of other accountability pieces throughout the month that you can look at on the website, end of the month reflection, so on and so forth. But the cool thing is you get access to all previous content as well. And I'm just so excited. So come join us. For real. Come join us. A bonus, if you sign up before this Friday, the 11th of November, you'll get the Fundamental Needs Bundle from the new Transformation Shop. I'll share more about the shop later on, probably next week for you. I kind of did a soft launch of the shop while we were going through the reset together. This is a new shop I opened with a bunch of great tools, digital products, habit hacking tools, if you will, that I've created over the years to help you really dig in deep into those specific fundamental needs and using some tools to make those happen in your life, some habit hacking tools, if you will. Okay, so everything's linked in the show notes. I would love to welcome you with open arms into the Habit Hacking Society. If you can't ever join a call live, you get all of the replays and including everything we've already done up till now. Okay, so I hope to see you there, Habit Hacker. Okay, let's talk about today's episode. I have been so excited to share this episode with you today. Today we're talking about rucking. So I have talked a little bit about rucking before. Last year around this time, actually episode 119, I talked about the power of doing hard things. I did the Chad 1000X Step Up Challenge with a ruck pack on with a couple of my girlfriends. You can go listen back to that episode, and it was just I fell in love with wearing a ruck pack. I saw Melissa Urban, the co-founder of the Whole30, wearing it, and I was just walking her dog, and I was like, what is this? This looks so much fun. And ever since then, I do not take a walk without my ruck pack. I've been consistently walking since August 1st, and especially since my injury this past summer or spring into summer, as a way to really clear my mind, get outside, get some type of physical activity, and feel hey, I'm doing something hard, and that helps build my confidence. So I love it so much. My girl Ashley and I are actually doing a rucking event this Saturday during Veterans Day weekend. I'll give you a recap. I'll give you a recap next Thursday, the 17th, about how it goes. But we're wearing our ruck packs. We got everything in play. It's going to be a great big community event, and no man is left behind, which it's kind of a mystery what's going to happen at this event, but I'm super excited. And that kind of reminds me to, find friends that push you past your comfort zone. Ash had texted me a few months back. She was like, hey, do you want to find a hard challenge to do together? And I was like, yeah, totally down. Let's do it. And I had been wearing my rucksack, and I think she got a ruck too. And so I started digging into some events, and I was like, hey, there's this fun ruck event happening in Indy in November. Want to do it? She's like, yeah, let's go. So I'm super excited to do this together. And if you're like, okay, what is rucking? Let me just explain a little bit about what it is. So pretty much it's putting weight in a backpack and walking. That's it. It's putting weight in a backpack. You could put canned foods. You could put bottled water. I actually wear a Ruck vest, a pack, and it has a 20-pound Ruck plate that I put every day. You've probably seen me on my Instagram stories where I get a lot of questions about it. Which I will share a discount code for you to get a Go Rucksack. Our guest today was so gracious to give you guys a discount code because I've had so many of you asking. But what I love about Rucking is cheap. It's easy. You can get an official Ruck pack from GoRuck, or you can just, like I said, put stuff in a backpack. It's a safe way to work out without risking an injury, and you can ruck anytime, anywhere. Like you can just do it around your house if you wanted to. So there's many benefits of rucking. A few of the ones that I'd like to point out. You're working cardio and strength at the same time. So your back, your glutes, your shoulders, your core, everything is activated. It is activated. And cardio, because you are walking, your heart rate might be up a little bit more because you are working against that resistance of wearing a pack on your back. I know I don't necessarily walk as fast as I do when I don't have my Ruck pack on. So my heart rate goes up a little bit, and it's working that cardiovascular exercise that we all like to have as well. I feel like I'm building endurance muscles. I see rucking as like functional fitness for long-term health in all reality. Like I am building those muscles up so I can get up and off the floor. I can keep up with my kids. It's less stressful on the body than running. I used to run. I loved it. I met some of my best friends running. I'm still part of my runner girl group, but I don't run anymore because I ruck. I love it so much because it's less stressful on my joints as I'm getting a little older. I'm 41 now. I'm just wanting to make sure I'm keeping my body safe. Like I said, it is a cardiovascular activity as well. It burns 3 times the calories of walking. You're doing cardio and strength training at the same time. It gets you outside. It improves your mood. We've talked about the beauty of getting outside and how that's so great for your mental health. And lastly, community. You can meet other people. Like GoRuck has these events where you can meet other people. You might just meet people walking every day while you're rucking. Okay. So like I said, I have an event coming up this weekend. I'll review it next Thursday, the 17th, in our habit hacking episode. I think I'm going to have a few points and some hacks around getting uncomfortable for you guys. But as I was thinking about wanting to share an episode with you about rucking and how much I'm obsessed with it and I loved it, I wanted to bring on Emily McCarthy. She is the head of community at GoRuck and one of the co-founders of GoRuck. Okay. So like I said, Emily has been so gracious. I'll mention this at the end of the episode as well. You can go to GoRuck.com and get 10% off any Ruck pack that's not on sale with the code 2022 GR10, the percent sign. Okay. I'll put it in the show notes for you as well. 2022 GR10, the percent sign. Okay. I'll put it in the show notes for you. But I wanted to bring Emily on because I wanted to talk about the beauty of community and doing hard things with others. And Emily is the perfect person to do this. Like I said, she's the director or head of community at GoRuck, but she is also a former Central Intelligence Agency case officer. She served our country on the front lines. And in the years following 9/11, she operated in war-torn Africa, where she was responsible for recruiting human sources and collecting intelligence in the interest of national security. Emily, thank you so much for your service. This episode is really timely with Veterans Day coming up later this week as well. So following her time serving in the U.S. government, Emily and her husband, Jason, founded GoRuck. It's an American brand with roots in intelligence and special forces. Her experience, coupled with excellence, toughness, and adaptability, will hopefully inspire others to really serve a greater cause. So Emily and her husband, their headquarters in their homes in Florida, they had 3 kids and a chocolate lab named Monster. She's a lab mom just like me, which I love so much. But Rucking was founded on their values and their experience with special operations. Special operations officers trained by carrying heavy loads on their back. And what a simple way to work out and honor those by doing that today. So make sure you stick around till the end. I'll share that discount code again. And as always, I'll share my 3 biggest takeaways. I feel like I should go put my ruck pack on while I'm talking. Don't worry, I'll be sharing more of my stories with you this week. I actually just got a new pack I'll be sharing with you as well. So get a pen and paper handy to take some notes, or open up your notes app on your phone, voice message yourself any notes. I like to do that as well. That way we're able to grow and learn how to do hard things together with this episode with Emily McCarthy of GoRuck. Let's go. All right, gang, thank you so much for tuning in to Self-Transformed again. I am so excited to dig into this conversation with you all. I know I've been getting a lot of DMs on Instagram like, Emily, what are you wearing on your back? Well, we are talking about rucking today, specifically with Emily McCarthy, who is the head of community for GoRuck. Emily, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me, Emily. So nice to meet you.
You too. Well, the first question I ask every guest is, what comes to mind when you hear the phrase self-transformed?
Oh gosh. Yes, that is a good question. And I honestly I think of the most transformative times in my life. And I think those are the times when I've thought about myself the least. If that makes sense. And it's like, my basic needs have been met. Maslow's hierarchy of needs are all sort of in place, and I'm able to actually be like fully present for someone else. And I think those are the times of my life that I think about when I've come away from those events and been different, because I think a lot of who we are as people is intact in a lot of ways. We don't, it's hard to change it's hard to do something new. But when I think of, sort of these big moments in my life where I've walked away feeling very different and like you said, transformed, those are the ones where it was something that kind of shocked me and took me outside of myself, and so allow me to sort of get that objective view and see, sometimes I changed because of that event, whether it was conscious or not, and sometimes it was a conscious, I need to make this change.
And I think it's really cool to reflect on that too, because a lot of times it might be something that you intentionally did, or an experience maybe you intentionally didn't go through, and you're like, oh, okay, this changed me in a way, either for the good or maybe not so great, and you're able to reflect from that and take that into your own life, right?
Right. I'll give you a recent example. Before the pandemic hit in March of 2020, I was, chugging along in my career, traveling a lot, working longish hours, stringing together babysitters, just doing like just in it, and trying to do it all. And I think a lot of parents can relate to that, and just people in general. And that happened, and it was a complete and utter sort of wake up call for me that life didn't completely stop. We kept our business going, thankfully, and we were able to maintain some regularity, but all those other sort of things had to push pause in our life. And what I realized was that I was moving a little too fast in terms of not spending time with my kids and my family, both immediate and extended. And I'm not saying I'm back to that, that area where we're kind of all trapped together. It's normalized to a certain point, but I am not the same. I'm like being very conscious of, like, I want to be in these places with my family. I want to be at home more, and I'm finding a way to, do trips and still get things done. But it's a different sort of cadence, and it's one that I'm working to sort of maintain in a way that, you know, I'd really, people say like, oh, the kids grow up quickly, but you don't realize it until you actually have to be in that moment. And just a lot of things changed for me in that. And I really sort of went back to how I was raised and the time and investment that my parents spend on me at those kind of critical years. And I realized that I needed to say no to some more things it's in order to preserve that sacred time.
Wow. That's such a beautiful story. Like something so crazy as like 2020 itself could
Mhm.
really bring you that much more intentionality and clarity on what's really important and really just to slow down. And you're probably really
Yeah.
conscious of choices you make and setting boundaries now too, I'm sure.
Yes, I think that's it. And this is, nothing was bad before.
Sure.
It just is a repurposing of time. Like,
Mm,
I and I look at it differently. I look at it as this opportunity instead of like, oh, I have to do this. I have to
yeah.
do this, and I'm really making sure that I'm picking things that I really want to do for the most part. There's always going to be obligations, and that's um but I'm trying to look at even those obligations in a different way.
Yeah, I love that so much. Well, my next question was going to be like to tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, I feel like that's a transformation story in itself, Emily. I love that so much. And I loved how you mentioned repurposing of your time. That's a beautiful phrase there. I love that. But can you share a little bit more about you, kind of what you do
Sure.
at GoRuck and how you came to be at GoRuck? I know how you came to be there, but
the
we'll start from the beginning.
Yeah, the Emily origin story. I get it. Yeah. So thanks for asking. It's always sort of flattering, and I'm always like, oh, people want to know. It's so nice. Thank you. I grew up in Florida and had a really sort of nice upbringing. Now that I've had some time and experience to compare, um, and and went off to college and thought I'd never move back to my hometown, and ended up one way or the other. I did I didn't get a chance to study abroad because I was running track at my university, and when ended up really wanting to get sort of that experience. So I spent a year volunteering in Ecuador through Catholic Relief Services. That was a transformative time in my life to, completely live in a very different environment, living in an impoverished community um, with other volunteers, and it really set me on a different sort of trajectory from there. I ended up sort of thinking I was going to be a teacher, like like it is in my family, but ran into Jason, who we went to high school together with. We went to high school together, and we decided to sort of we didn't decide to get married just then and there, but our paths kept crossing. He was joining the military, going the special forces route, and he encouraged me to join the agency. So I ended up we ended up getting married hastily, and we both went off in these separate directions on these crazy adventures in our early 20s, living and working abroad. And that was an intense experience, and really fascinating, and given a lot of responsibility at a young age. But ultimately, we both ended up leaving that. We started GoRuck during that time, sort of as like a side project, thinking about something that we could do in between, training and whatnot, but really didn't have a great plan. And, while our relationship didn't survive that first time around, the company started to take off in sort of a bizarre, way. It was just it was a time when 2008, 2009, the housing crisis, there was a lot of uncertainty in the world. And there was also a lot of attention on obstacle course relays. And this was like a similar sort of event, although much more mysterious and rooted in special forces training. So we, being friends before we were married, we stayed in touch and it ended up getting back together and have been running GoRuck ever since. 12 years now. That lots of events, lots of rucksacks, lots of iterations, lots of mistakes, lots of sort of trying to figure out, are we a gear company? Are we an events company? Are finally settling that we're a rucking company, and trying to explain to people that aren't in the military that this is actually a really great way to work out, but also to meet people.
Hmm. I love that so much. And thank you for sharing that story. It sounded like there was a lot of transformative things that happened along that line for you both, which
A
is,
nice way to say it.
yeah, like a little roller coaster happening. And thank you both for your service. I love your story so much. So can you kind of explain like the mission behind GoRuck? And if someone's listening and they're like, what is rucking? We can kind of
Right. I
start
know.
there.
I've had to say this a lot, but I think it's worth the I think it's worth it. We believe in it. So, our GoRuck is rooted in our service and our time in serving our country and our others and ourselves at that time. And it um the rucking itself is very simple. It's just putting weight in a backpack and moving with purpose. I was just telling this to my daughter the other day. I had her do her first WOD. A little girl in our community who had lost her battle to cancer. There was a workout of the day put on for her. And so my daughter's 10 now. So I invited just her along. And I was basically saying, like, this is rucking, in case you were wondering what we do. Because she's in it, but she doesn't, she's a little too close to it. So
Sure.
I said, we are putting weight in our rucksacks here, and we're moving with purpose. Because she tends to move a little bit like a sloth. That's what I tell her. But so she did really great
Awesome.
for what it's worth. But yes, the sort of um, tradition in the military, especially in the special operations community, is to train by carrying loads on your back because you have a lot to carry. And what GoRuck has done is sort of democratize that, or civilianize that, to show that others, like, you don't have to be completely uncomfortable. We've actually built gear that makes it comfortable. We have the easy to put your ruck plate in, and different styles, different sizes for different shapes and people, and found that it's a really kind of easy and simple, portable way of of incorporating fitness into your life. And I see it in my own life, how it's been helpful for me as a former runner who misses sort of the community with my running team, but I'm just no longer able to, one, coach at the school across town. I can't dedicate that 3 hours anymore away from my family. These are hard decisions we have to make. Can't do it all. But finding, like, that not everybody wants to run with other people, right? That sometimes, like, someone's therapy, it's their solitary activity, like to listen to music. I'm different. I want to run with a group of friends. Doesn't matter to your ability, guy, girl. I just want to go and talk. And that's kind of a social time for me. It's how I kind of grew up as a runner. And I don't get an opportunity to do that much anymore with my schedule and other people's schedule. So sort of this idea of like a driveway workout where we put on our rucks and we ruck sometimes a distance, or we stay in place and do the exercises that you can do with this, what we call a gym on your back. It's been a really great sort of way to recreate something that was really important in my life, in terms of community fitness and being held accountable by other people. Like, I know people are different and how they like to exercise and what they get out of it. I am very much motivated by Are you going to be there? All right, I'll meet you there. I will wake up early. It's
They're
because
counting on you.
you're
Yeah.
going to be there too. And I tell people I'm a consistently inconsistent person. I'm very much, I can do it. I can do it. I've done the 5 a.m. wake ups. I've done the hit the 2 minute window to meet your agent in a car pickup meeting. I've gotten my kids to school on time, mostly,
Mostly.
but it's hard. I struggle with it. I'm best when I'm spontaneous. I'm best in a crisis, sort of thing. I think, at least that's what I've learned after 43 years. But you know, the world doesn't often operate like that, and the in between time, it's really important to find things that work for me and for others, and what is going to help you to keep doing something that you know is good for you.
Yeah. I kind of found GoRuck on accident like a year ago. So I was listening to Michael Easter's book, The Comfort Crisis, and he was talking about rucking. And I'm like, well, that sounds fun because I'm always the type of person like, oh, well, I like to walk, but let's add an element of hard to it just for fun. Just being a coach myself, I'm like, okay, let's do hard things. And then we found out about the Chad 1000X last year, the 1,000 step up. So me and 3 other girlfriends did it. I got my first GoRuck pack. And like you were just saying, it's so comfortable. It's something I wear every single day on my walks down. I always get questions from people or side glances like, what are you wearing? And
Yeah.
but it's kind of funny how things like that fall into place because I listened to that book, and I'm a Whole30 certified coach too. And Melissa Urban
Oh.
started sharing about wearing one too. She's the co-founder, which I know you know that, but for everyone listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, so I should probably go get like a GoRuck. Like it's like something that I need to be doing. And
Right.
at this point, like my husband's now rucking. I'm helping other women ruck too. And I'm just so excited about the possibility of people moving and having that element of taking the ruck off when you're done. That's my favorite part because it's like, and you're just like, sometimes you are like figuratively carrying the weight of the world and other people, like your kids, your spouse, work, coworkers, all the things. And I almost feel like it's figured, it's like literally taking off that weight when you're done, and you feel lighter at the end and so accomplished that, yeah, I just went and walked 3 miles, but it was a challenge to walk those 3 miles with that extra weight on my back. So that's why I love it so much. And I feel like I get
Um,
little whispers like that. I'm like, okay, I should obviously go get myself one of these. I tell everyone about it too, which is so great.
the world is conspiring according to you to this.
I mean,
So
it happens. You got to just listen for it. You just got to listen for it.
I,
That's the
you're
key.
absolutely right. That's one of the biggest lessons. That's great. We really enjoy both Michael Easter, and we met Melissa through Michael, and that his book has really just resonated with a whole range of people. I think it's really great, and I think about it a lot, all the parts of it, and Melissa has been such a wonderful sort of advocate for trying something new like this. And I know she loves the part of taking it off too. And she was sitting on the panel that we had at the Sandlot Fitness Festival that Michael Easter was emceeing, and that came up as we need a term for that.
Oh,
And I maybe your listeners can come up with a good one, but we don't
like,
really have a great sort of what is that feeling when you're sort of now you've put in this work, you've rocked, whether it's you're mowing your lawn, or you're walking your kids to school, or you're just out on your own, listen to a podcast or whatnot. Like, what is that feeling when you take it
mm,
off? We were trying to come up with something, but hadn't really found it yet. But yeah, it's a thing in our community.
It's
to
totally a thing. It's totally a thing. Well, and you spoke so highly about community and connecting with others, and you all have done a really great job doing that. I'm doing an event with one of my girlfriends on November 12th, and it's such a mystery as far as what it's going to be. We were trying to research on the back end, and we were like, okay, so we're down for like whatever surprises are going to come. So, but can you tell us a little bit about the events
yes,
you have around the country, really, in the rec clubs that you have too? Because if people are interested in doing
yes.
this, having that accountability piece and making other friends who have maybe similar interests, I think would be something that really resonates with this audience.
Oh, yes. GoRuck wouldn't be what we are today without these events, without the people that we've met along the way. And, it's often people who like type two fun. So you kind of hate it when you're going through it, but afterwards you respect it and
Yeah.
appreciate it and you learn a lot from it. Um, we always laugh that everyone is all, why did you bring me to this? Or why did I sign up for this? And then they get home afterwards, and then a few hours later, they're signing up for the next one,
Totally. Right.
um, just because it is a challenge, and it is getting out of that comfort zone
Mm.
and pushing yourself and allowing yourself those transformative moments. And what's been so wonderful over the years, and what honestly keeps us going and during tough times are those stories of transformation where people say, I was going through a really rough time in my life for one reason or another, or I was unsure about what to do. And just sort of getting out there with other people and doing something hard and realizing I could do it really, really helped and allowed me to, either find a group of people that I was like-minded with and meet up with them. I mean, we have rec clubs all over the country and the world, where people can actually, just get together and throw weight on their back or do exercises together. But really, it's their communing. They're getting together and being there for each other. The events are sort of the pinnacle. A lot of people will group together and train, and support each other through that process, and then be at the events and get through that hard time together. And then some of them say, that's it, I've done my one, I had that great experience. And then there's others that want to try new challenges, and we have grown from the early days of just it being called the GoRuck Challenge, which was a 12-hour event overnight, led by usually Jason at the beginning, but any sort of special operations guy, and kind of getting this tour of a city and stories being told along the way, stopping at I don't know points of interest in a city. And now it's evolved to, we have the one you're going to do, the 6-hour version, which is it's going to be challenging, but it's just a shorter time period. And then we have other ones which are the 24-hour heavy version, and we have star courses, which is just putting weight on your back where you're rucking different points in a city, different sort of distances, anywhere from 12 to 26.2 to 50 miles. And I've done almost all of our events, and except selection, which is it's the outlier, because it's the one where the cadre are actually trying to get people to quit to make
Oh,
it
no.
like special forces selection. But the other ones are team building events. So the purpose of them is not that there is a winner, not, and it's to actually hope that nobody drops out.
Mm.
So when there's been times when people were struggling, the group sort of finds a way to, hey, let me carry your rucksack for a while, or hey, let's just, you twisted your ankle on this last mile, we'll pick you up and we'll carry you. That they're made into a casualty of the sort of mission at that point. So it's been a real evolution to see how the events have changed in the last 12 years and how they continue to evolve. But at the heart of it all is people
Mm.
doing hard things and doing them together.
I love that so much. I'm so excited now for like my event. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I want to do like an overnight one now too?
Mm.
I need to get my husband to do one. He's really into adventure races and he's done like 12-hour ones like
Mm.
overnight with like the orienteering and stuff, but we need to put a rucksack on
Fun.
and see how that goes too. I
Yes,
love that
yes.
so much. I love that.
Wow. Well, you sound like you guys are predisposed to this sort of stuff,
Oh
so
my gosh.
you'll have
Yes,
a fun time.
Emily. And I'm already thinking, I'm like, okay, the kids probably, they need their own GoRuck for Christmas. There might be
Right.
their own little rucksacks under the tree, which might be really cool for them. And I love
Cute.
how you keep mentioning to do hard things. I have an episode that I aired last year around this time after we did the Chad 1000X, and I entitled it "Doing We Can Do Hard Things," and the reason
Oh,
behind doing that. And like our text group is called Do Hard Things Ladies and everything. I love that so much. And it's such a great metaphor because when you do something hard, just as, like one of these events or just rucking in general, it really can help with dealing with the really hard things that happen in life sometimes. You're building that
right.
mental strength and fortitude over time. So I love that so much. Now, to kind of wrap up here, we're big on habits and creating healthy habits in our life. And if someone's listening today, how could they go about making rucking part of a healthy habit for them?
Yeah, that's a great that's again talking to the person who I struggle with the habits, but
Sure.
I found ways to make it work. And
Mhm.
honestly, it depends on who you are, but if you're someone who walks the dog every day, once or twice, um, throwing on that that rucksack or that ruck plate carrier that how Melissa does with her dog, it just getting that in there, you're actually you're kind of like secretly doing more work, and it is harder, but it's like sort of built into a process that you're already doing. um and I basically I ruck in a lot of different ways, around, like sometimes when I have to listen to a podcast or if I have a meeting, I want to move. I don't want to sit if I don't have to be tied to the computer, and I just put on a rucksack and I look back and I'm like, wow, I just got 10,000 steps, and I just secretly burned, 3 times as many calories, and did some strength training and helped my core and my posture by doing that. But that's not really, those are benefits. That's not really, I just wanted to get out there, and, my rucksack's there and it's an easy sort of add on to it.
Mhm.
So that sort of building it into routines that you already have, is the beauty of the simplicity of rucking. And what I talked about before, and what is near and dear to my heart, is the community aspect of it. Finding, like, you have this text group with doing hard things, and you know finding something, maybe rucking is a change up to your routine. Maybe it's a way to allow somebody who's maybe not can't run anymore. They've got an injury or a knee that won't allow them to do that anymore, or their body's just telling them no. That this is, rucking is basically intensified walking. So it's something that, you know if you're able to walk, you should be able to ruck. And building that up, you don't have to start with a 30-pound plate or a 45-pound plate. I've 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 sometimes, after I, gave birth and was not feeling great, I did just 10 pounds, or just my water bottle with, sometimes with the kids, I just say, put a book in there and a water bottle and let's just go. And they, I found, like, with my youngest, he has some sensory issues that he deals with, that heavy work of just having that comfort of the rucksack on him has been really good to work into his routine. So that's that's what I would say, is that the find a way to kind of incorporate into things that you already do and enjoy in your life, and to find, the community aspect of it.
Perfect. I love that so much. One thing I personally do, I keep it right in my garage, right where I step out, where I visually can see it. Because if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And every year when we go to Florida in October, it comes down to Florida with us, and I
Nice.
I ruck around our I don't do it on the beach because it's kind of harder, but I'll ruck on the
Yes.
sidewalk. It's a whole different. That's next level. That's next level. So
Yeah, the sand is not forgiving, but yeah, plus you're on vacation, right?
yeah,
Like enjoy the beach for what it is. But if you're looking to sort of, incorporate a workout while you're there, it's
totally.
really easy to put that on and
Yeah.
take it with you.
Awesome. Well, Emily, I have so enjoyed getting to know you and having this conversation with you today. Where can everyone learn more about Go Ruck and how they can maybe find an event in their area?
Yes, thank you for asking. GoRuck.com is a website that's our storefront. We don't really have a brick and mortar stores, so we have our headquarters here in Jacksonville Beach, Florida. But that's the one-stop shop for everything. You can find the events there. You can find information about ruck clubs. We do have this new sort of fitness app that's related called Sandlot. Related to the big fitness festival we put on in the spring. I'm going to put it on next spring. But if that is sort of where we're trying to basically be the Pokemon Go of fitness. So showing people where, these pop-up ruck clubs, run clubs, outdoor yoga sessions, things are happening just by, getting on there. So we have like our ruck clubs on there. So if people are interested, you can go to Sandlot Fit and get that, get your account and then put in your address and see if there are ruck clubs around you that are on that. And I think that's a really great way to connect with a group of fellow ruckers if this is something you're interested in.
I love that so much. So everyone go to goruck.com, grab your ruck, find some friends, and let's get to rucking. Emily, thank you so much for this conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. Good luck with your event.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Don't be afraid.
Emily, thank you so much for this conversation. I loved chatting with you and learning about the origin story of GoRuck and just how passionate you are about it. I hope everyone goes to goruck.com and goes and gets their ruck pack now. Remember, guys, you can use the code 2022 GR10%, so the actual percent sign, to get 10% off of your ruck pack. And I want to see you in your stories on social media. Tag GoRuck, tag Emily, tag me. We'll have it all linked in the show notes for you of you doing hard things and rucking. What a great Christmas gift, right? Like, get it for you and your husband. You guys can go rucking together. How much fun. Okay, gang. Let's get into it. And all that will be in the show notes for you. Okie dokie. Let's talk about my 3 biggest takeaways of this conversation with Emily McCarthy from GoRuck. Number 1, add in community if you need some accountability. So, this doesn't only apply towards rucking. This applies towards any type of level of fitness, even like, if you're trying to do a a physical challenge, a mental challenge, emotional challenge. Maybe you're trying to read the Bible in so many weeks. My husband did that and was actually in an accountability group with one of his buddies that he races with. Like, I didn't even know he was doing that. And I was like, wow, you read the whole Bible, or he listened to it because we're very audible people around here. And he's like, yeah, I was doing it with my buddy Seth. And I was like, I had no idea. So he had that accountability to do that. So this is something to think about with not only physical challenges like rucking, but anything. If you have someone that you're being accountable to, you're more likely to succeed, my friend. And plus, it's more fun doing things together instead of by yourself, right? Absolutely. Number 2, the value of rucking, in my opinion, like I kind of mentioned in this conversation with Emily, literally and figuratively, we are carrying the weight of the world sometimes, right? You get to choose your hard. You get to choose your hard. Okay. I do reference the book, The Comfort Crisis by Michael Easter. I love this book so much. It was one of the first times I was really exposed to rucking and how that was like, oh, I'm getting uncomfortable and doing hard things. We get so stuck in our comfort zones that we don't want to step outside of that comfort zone, right? And try new things. Get more comfortable, my friend. being uncomfortable. You're going to build so much confidence, and you are going to inspire yourself to do other hard things or be able to handle like the hard things that actually happen in life sometimes, because you've built not only physical strength and endurance, you've also built that mental muscle, that mental endurance that sometimes needs a little bit more conditioning over time. So sometimes we're carrying the weight of the world. Take it off sometimes, like you do a rucksack, like we were talking about. Or, if you are carrying it, carry it for a reason, but be able to take it off. You can do hard things, my friend. And then lastly, of course, I got to put a habit tip in there. Like we talked about, making a habit of rucking can be easy. I like how Emily mentioned you're secretly doing more work when you put it on. Like even if you're walking around listening to a call for work, put a ruck on and just walk around your office. I love that example. Adding it to things that you already do. Like she mentioned, you got to work in the in-between times, right? Putting in work in the in-between times where, if you're at your kid's soccer practice, put a ruck on. I can't tell you how many times parents have seen me rucking at lacrosse practices, not necessarily at golf, because my teenager, I don't think, wants me around there walking the golf course with my ruck on, but maybe I'll start doing that. Maybe I'll do that in the spring during golf season. That's actually a really good idea. And lastly, put it where you can see it. I have it right where I see it, where I'm walking out the door to go for a walk every day. I took it with me on vacation. I just kind of have my own rule now where if I go for a walk, I've made it a habit to always have my ruck. And I have that visual cue. I do it, and at the end, I reward myself by just taking it off. It feels so good. And that's just a simple 3-step habit cycle there that we teach a lot in all of our programming, a cue, routine, reward. But we'll get into that some other time, especially if you're going to become a member in the Habit Hacking Society. We talk about that a lot too. So Emily, thank you so much again for coming on this show. I loved this conversation. Gang, I really want to inspire you to do hard things. Get out there and meet other people. Go get a ruck. Ask for a ruck for Christmas. You can use the code I shared earlier. I'll put it in the show notes for you, and tag us in your stories wearing your ruck as you are getting out, walking, taking that time for your mental and physical health, and showing yourself that you can do hard things, my friend. Okay, I'll give a recap if I survive. I'm sure I will. Next Thursday, the 17th. Yes, next Thursday, the 17th of my GoRuck event. I have some other episodes scheduled. But I just want to share my biggest takeaways from you and let you hear, the struggles I went through and what I learned from that. I'll probably need some time to decompress before I record that episode for you anyway. So I hope to see a lot of new habit hackers inside of the society. Remember, if you sign up by this Friday, the 11th, you get that bonus fundamental needs bundle, some fun tracking tools that I have made for you in regards to your fundamental needs. Duh, obviously. Go check it out. I can't wait to welcome you into the society, and I can't wait to see you rucking out in the real world. I'll catch up with you later this week, my friend. Hey girl, real quick before you go, if you want some free motivation texted to you every week from me to help you habit hack your health, send me your favorite emoji to 773-904-2157 and sign up for my weekly pump up text. I can't wait to catch up with you there. Hey, and if you love the podcast, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a rating and review in iTunes. That way more mamas can also find the show. Then you can even email me a screenshot of your review, and I'll send you either a Starbucks gift card or give you a free habit hacking call with me live on the podcast. Love and appreciate you, friend. I'll see you next time.